Welcome to FIREchat, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Rice, and with me today is Caitlin Weaver. Caitlin has been a long-time member of the IEREAC and a unknowing real estate investor buying her first house, which I don't think you intended on really, and renting it out at first when you bought it, but yeah, and just coming in on closing her first wholesale deal here pretty quickly. And yeah, so we're just here she's been on the show before. We're just here to talk a little bit more. It's actually, believe it or not, even though we look well rested and, as great as we always do and just ready to party, it is like 1 a.m. here. We just finished up a fire focus event with Mark Pantak.
He's amazing.
And what did you think?
I was really intrigued. It was an amazing presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. When someone's just passionate about something and then they're also amazing at speaking to a crowd and then they're also really smart. Just good vibes, good energy, honestly. Mm-hmm. And definitely someone who looks up to a lot of people that I look up to. And he's just knows so much about each of their different, ways of teaching or different structures of creative. And that's really the name of the game that stuck out to me, is how to be as creative as possible, because that's what's going to make you, stick out in this industry at least. And he literally said it himself that it's a people business, and I need to reshift my mindset sometimes,
So when you say creative, what are we talking about? Like painting pictures and stuff, or was he a good drawer? Or?
No, I think it's more in the sense of I know people think creative doesn't just mean artistic. Creative can be anything, and that's just in the way that the deal is structured, specifically in real estate, using real estate as a vehicle to get to where we all want to be, which is financial independence. But basically, in order to get to financial independence, you need houses to get there. And if you can't buy a house a certain way, how to buy it a different way, instead of just saying, oh, well, I can't buy it this way, so I'm just not going to buy it. You know what I mean? Thinking of a different structure or different...
not just being a one-trick pony. And,
different options.
Just throwing
Don't throw the towel
lowest
in.
cash offer you could throw at somebody and beat them over the head with it.
Exactly. That's what I'm learning about, instead of just thinking one way, thinking 3 different ways at first and then thinking of different ways after that. Yeah, I was talking to one of the members after too, it was the meeting after the meeting, which I was telling everybody is
which one?
That's the best part. I know there's 3 after.
No, well, I mean, which member? Sorry.
Oh,
but yes,
I don't know if I want to put him on the spot like that. He's one of the new members that stays after the meeting, but anyway, he was just talking about how he was married with someone and he didn't think he could qualify because he was married, and I was like, nah, man, you could buy a house as a married man, sole and separate property. You know what I mean? He was just oh, well, once I found out I couldn't qualify for the loan without her signing, then I just didn't do it. I was like, no. He's yeah, I was just thinking about the wrong advice from the wrong people. And I was like, yeah, honestly, it's all about the way that you think, and, you're already setting that limiting belief. And we're just talking about that too, because I think that was another cool thing about Mark's discussion about just mindset in general. And
he was big on mindset. I know he, especially after, his presentation was one thing. And he went in a little bit about mindset, but
but more about
more like the round table afterwards. We were, he was really diving in, and it's a big part of all this, right?
100% is, because especially in this business where you're kind of your own boss, unless you're, having quotas or doing your own thing, you really have to set your own standards, your own numbers, your own, like you said, creating the funnel. And like he also said, ready, aim, fire, don't just sit there waiting, just take action and do it. And that's something that I'm trying to work on more. And,
ready, aim, fire. What do you think he meant by that?
Honestly, taking action.
Well, no, sorry. It was ready, fire, aim.
Ready, fire. Oh.
Ready, fire, aim.
Also, that's what he was trying to jump on too. just get the deal and contract. You don't got to think about, oh, well, will this be a good deal, or where am I going to get the 20% if I'm only getting 80% financing? Like, he's like, none of that matters. Just getting the deal. So I guess it's more like fire first, then that the aim comes after. You know, you don't got to aim forever before you just shoot.
And I think specifically he was talking about, people trying to get all their ducks in a row before they ever go out and fire, right? Like you worry about how you're going to finance it and how you're going to pay for the repairs and how you're going to get the money together. And he was basically saying, just get it under contract, just ready to fire. The aim part, like you said, comes later.
Yes.
So,
that was a key.
What was the other mindset thing he was talking about? He talked a little bit about it was like the mindset before, or the mindset of like people at different stages. So somebody that's making $100,000 a year, flipping houses or whatever, is in a certain mindset. Somebody doing $1 million a year is in a different mindset. But is that person like really different? Like, is that person any smarter that's doing the $1 million? Or is that person any smarter that's doing, $5 million or flipping apartment complexes versus houses, or, and I think his answer was like, no, that person's not smarter.
It's just a different caliber.
Like it comes down to mindset and believing, that you can do it, and that you're going to, and then there's a difference between that mindset and like the, $50,000 millionaire that, just leverages themselves to the teeth, on their $50,000 income, trying to live like they're making $1 million. Right.
Yeah.
So, man, there was so much in there that I feel like we could talk about Mark, all night, but we're going to have him on the show tomorrow.
Literally in less than 8 hours, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
You're right.
Honestly, yeah.
9 in the morning.
9 in the morning, and it's
1:04.
1.
So, but yeah. So, any other thoughts on Mark? I definitely want to talk about some other things. So,
I could, like he said, he's just barely scraping on the surface of what he could talk about. I really do hope that we could maybe get him back out here again, possibly, because he's like, he's good vibes. He's all about teaching people genuinely. Like he said, he's like, I don't have anything to sell. I don't have anything to offer other than my knowledge and his experience which obviously showed. And super cool guy. So I could talk about. Yeah,
and you mentioned having him out here again. We'd love to. We're probably going to talk to him a little bit later about doing a fire class out here.
Yeah.
This is FIREchat. Last night he was on, or tonight I guess, he was on Fire Focus. We kind of have an acronym, a theme going with FIRE. It's financial independence for real estate, through real estate, excuse me. We're gonna have him out here, and I think we're talking about either like September, October. So stay tuned. He's a great guy. You could Google him. And it was really cool. Goodwin, if you're out there watching, good job getting him to come talk. Goodwin and Andy run the Fire Focus Creative Financing that happens on the third Wednesday every single month. So that was a really, really, really good time. I really enjoyed Mark coming out here. So
that was awesome.
With that, let's we've already you've been on the show before, so we've already kind of talked about a couple things about your journey and some of the stuff you do for the club but I don't think we really ever hit on, the name of the show is Financial Independence Through Real Estate. What does financial independence mean to you, Caitlin?
I think it's financial independence is like freedom of time, meaning your time is completely freed up, but you're still obviously living your life to your expectations, whatever makes you happy, and being able to do that with all the time that you need.
Okay, so freedom of time, like you own your time. It's not like
yes, like I'll be able to do what I'd like and continue to do what I like because I love it.
Okay. So if you had all the time in the world, like, what is a day? Let's say, not many years from now, a few years from now, maybe a year from now, when you're financially independent? Because it's possible. What does a day in the life look like? Like, you're financially free, you got all your bills paid, you know, and let's say you keep your you keep your lifestyle in check, and you don't go buy a Ferrari or something and have to pay for that. What is a day in the life like? What is Caitlin's dream day look like?
My dream day is like, I don't know. I'm more about like experiences. So like when you say like a dream car or something, yeah, it'd be great to experience that for a day or a couple of days. But then after that, I'll probably get bored of it. So like I'm very like all about new experiences as much as possible. That's what I'm finding out in life is I'm also okay with experiencing similar routine every single day in my life. But also having, a life of dreams and goals and plans, trips planned. I was gonna say plans, trip, but basically having freedom of time to like, go anywhere, anytime, go any place, anytime.
Okay.
And
but let's like I'm gonna pull you back in too. Like what? Like just like you're on permanent vacation. Okay. And let's say you've already done it. You've already slept in. You recharge the batteries. Everything's cool. Like, I'm not talking about like day one, obviously you're just like, I'd probably sleep in until like 3 p.m. and just put on some movies and whatever. Like that would be my day. Like, my first financial freedom day. Like I just quit everything.
For a little bit.
But that gets old. So
yeah,
like what excites you? Like what would you pursue? What would you do?
I would honestly like try to learn new things. Since I do love real estate, I like to just see different parts of the world, different cultures, how different countries are different. US isn't everything, and I've primarily spent most of my time in California. So if I could travel the world, just seeing how different things work. There's different governments out there that are completely tax free, like in Puerto Rico and stuff. I think it would be cool to expand my brain and my knowledge, like.
So you travel
beyond.
So a day in the life of Fire for Caitlin is
traveling.
Is traveling.
Yeah, I think I'm
on a plane, on a bike,
on a plane,
on a walk, in a car. Doesn't matter. You just want to travel, or you want to like, what's destination number one?
Probably. Honestly, I don't have a dream destination right now. I want to go to Hawaii, to be honest. I've never even been to Catalina. I want to go, like, I love the water. So I was thinking, like, anywhere with a waterfall. I'm thinking, like, Colorado, Oregon, Hawaii, somewhere to just go on a hike and then you just run into a waterfall. You go swimming for the day. You go get some food. And, like, getting the experience of knowing about the different volcanoes that have been there in the past, like, that's all history. Like, that leads up to different geographical phenomenons that may happen in my near future, in my children's or my grandchildren's future. I am all about, like, the geography. So, like, different places of the world with different geography, like, I'm about. Like, it was so cool. Yeah, I'm into water.
So you're going to go chasing waterfalls.
Yes. Yes.
I wish I had the song queued up.
Oh, gosh.
You don't want to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to?
Nah, not anymore.
Not like Gregory and
not like Gregory and Lake Irwin.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
I've been to the beaches a million times. Some beaches I haven't been, but it'd be cool to go see Florida beaches and stuff. That's what I want.
Florida beaches. Yeah. We did see a Florida beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. This last summer.
Like, seeing the Bahamas was
South
cool.
Beach.
South Beach was so amazing. Mm-hmm. And just honestly learning, like I said, about different parts of the world that, like, are tax-free. Like, Puerto Rico is tax-free. Florida is a state of non-income tax. Like, it makes such a difference where you're at and where you're located. But, California is true to my heart. So, having that home base. I mean, I'm going to be honest, before I ever aspired to be a real estate investor, I always told myself, like, okay, I'm just going to have a second home in everywhere that I always want to visit. I'll always just have a second home wherever I want to be. Like, I'll purchase one in Florida because I love that state. Eventually, I want to have property there. You know, having our close, tight farm is great, but it'd be cool to have a different location and, you know, sell it on a lease option or sell it on something else or keep it and create a rental income out of it. You know.
So top 3, like if you said Florida, so obviously that's on one. What other 2, like would you buy your next 3 second homes in? Starting with Florida.
Florida, number 1.
You said Hawaii earlier.
Yeah, I like Hawaii, but not for real estate. Probably like Alabama or Georgia. I think keeping it south is cool. And then maybe I don't know. I'd really have to look at the real estate. Tennessee or one of the. There was 5 states that were mentioned that are like they're growing in like real estate. In the East Coast area, Southwest area, or Southeast, Midwest area. Yeah. So like either North Carolina, South Carolina, or Tennessee. Just depends.
Tennessee. Yeah, there's a lot of, I know there's been a lot of people going to or buying stuff in Tennessee. Is that where the Little Smokies are?
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
that Tennessee? Like where I know a lot of people that bought Airbnbs out there.
Yeah.
And did pretty well.
Seeing where where the market's going, like either somewhere by a, you know, like a mountain resort, or like Mammoth snowboarding, something like that, or national park, or down south, which is more like Disney World. Or I heard they were moving Disney World though. I don't know.
I think there's some talk about
I don't know.
you know some threats to. I don't think they'll. You know how much it would cost to move Disney World?
I don't. That's a lot of things.
You know, I mean, if they're in a state that's hostile to their business model now, I guess that's more costly than moving a theme park.
Than moving,
you know,
yeah.
and you definitely start over and then write it all off and bury it somehow in the accounting. So whatever. Like more power to Disney if they can just tell an entire state to
Yeah.
to F off, but
Yeah.
hey, they're Disney. I mean, mess with the mouse, but the governor's we'll see. That's gonna be an interesting
So like
play.
I think about that. Like, that's something to factor in about where you're gonna settle down with some real estate. That's definitely gonna either deter or, attract tourists depending on the people. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to do some more homework on where the market's going and like what areas I want to be in ultimately.
Right on.
Honestly.
Right on. So like if you did have those second homes, like what would you do with them? Like
honestly, probably Airbnb 'em.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? I know it would have to make sense to Airbnb it. So obviously like the all in would have to be at a great rate and the nightly would have to carry all the expenses, all the cleaning, all the maintenance, and then I'd still have to cash flow. It would have to pencil. And if it didn't as an Airbnb, I'd try a midterm or I'd sell it on a lease option.
Would you be okay with it just breaking even just to have it?
Yeah. So I could stay somewhere else.
If it was, I don't know, that house that we stayed at in Newport.
Heck yeah. If that was breaking even, I'd take that all day. I would take that all day. If my mortgage was paid, all the maintenance was paid, the cleaning fees taken care of because the guests are paying it.
Yeah. We stayed
I could stay there.
We stayed like impromptu at a friend's Airbnb down in Newport.
Newport Beach, right on the boulevard.
Did not realize, he's a humble guy. He didn't really sell.
I didn't even know he had an Airbnb.
I knew he had one, but like he kind of told me like where it was before. But I didn't realize that it was, literally like for those of you who are familiar with Newport, there's like Sharky's and the pier, the Newport Pier, and that like the little promenade area right there. It's literally across the street from that, like right there. Like you two houses in from the 2 houses in from the light. You walk to the light and then you walk across the street and you're on the pier.
It's right by the pier. Yeah.
It's crazy. And so, yeah, if we could, get that for
if I could get a beachfront property in Florida for like and like
Yeah, and it just broke even.
Yeah. So that's like a goal or an idea.
Yeah. So I mean, as an Airbnb, I mean, you helped me, take back my Airbnb, run it for not all that long, but long enough to get a real, I guess, crash course in what goes into it.
Management, yeah.
Yeah, like to manage and operate one.
Self-manage and self-operate and self-clean and self-do everything. Yes.
What'd you think?
I would just do it differently and do a different plan. And, if we were able to have it longer, I feel like the systems would have eventually worked their way in. I mean, self-managing it is just way too hard. There's people that are in the business that do that and specialize that. So let's just leave it to them that do that. I'm going to be honest. So I would honestly, I would need to have boots on the ground. And, that's the name of the game. That's kind of what like Mark mentioned too, is like, just what's your network? Who do you have out there, or who do you know that may know someone out there? And that's all it really takes if you're going like in a further direction than where you live. So cleaning fees, making sure the cleaning is taken care of is like the number one thing that I recommend for the short-term rental, because having those operations in place is like honestly the most important thing. That's what makes the money, the turns, making sure it's ready for the guests. That's the bloodline of the business is the guests.
Yeah.
Making sure it's ready for them. So,
well, in the crash course that we got, I'm good. I don't think I'd do one again, but I'd probably buy into one.
I would. It's really easy also to. I understand you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that I think
you are the
that I think that I'm on the same page as you. I don't want to be the person that master lease it from the owner and arbitrages it or does whatever. I want to be the owner. You want to arbitrage my property or master lease it? Great. Let's talk. But I'm not shooting for doing that kind of work. Servicing management right now. Even just being a host, you still got to plan the cleaner, you still got to plan the maintenance, you still got to plan the furnishings, you still got to make sure that a water heater is working, the heater, whatever it may be. And that's just not something I want to host. I understand we're on the same page. So I'd rather be the owner that has the house, the property, the opportunity to do something like that. So if I owned the house, like I said, and out of state, there's always a lease option. There's always
but that kind
options.
of that makes it tough to use it. I mean, I guess if you did
I might not be able to use it. You're right.
If
but if I sold it with them, and I master lease it, I'll say, hey, I'm coming into town this dates. Do you have
I would take it a step further and say, in the master lease agreement that you get to use it for a certain amount of time every year. And of course, I mean, it's got to be something fair and reasonable to, you can't just say, I want,
every holiday,
Christmas and New Year's, every single year like that. No. I mean,
I'll have my other
off season that you're gonna, the off season that you're gonna really
take advantage.
Like another friend that has a property in Arizona, and I mean, he's pretty cool about people using it and paying the cleaning fee and stuff like that, and but he's not gonna let you do that for Super Bowl weekend. Or
4th of July,
or spring training, or 4th of July. No, well, 4th of July is a big one, but
summer is big out there. I think,
No, in Arizona, the summer is more. It's I don't know in the specific Airbnb market, but I would bet that summer is slower
than the winter,
than the fall and spring. Like the Arizona is gorgeous in the fall and the spring. It's really cold in the winter, and it's really hot in the summer. Like January in Phoenix is extremes. and it's crazy because it's like 40 degrees in the morning. You go to work at 40 degrees with a big old jacket on, and then you step out at 4 o'clock to go home,
and it's 90
or like 70. It's a crazy fluctuation, and but it is gorgeous. There's certain times of the year that are really really, really pretty in Arizona, and the weather's excellent for a lot of the year. But sorry, I lived there for 8 years. I gotta say that it's those windows when it's like perfect in Arizona. It's pretty much like that in Southern California. Like,
The whole time.
250 days out of the year.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I get you.
So it's like,
Trade-offs.
there's a reason that everybody wants to live here, or why the real estate's so expensive, because it's like you don't get this climate anywhere else in the world. But
Yeah.
so anyways, kind of digressing into
Sorry, I brought that up as
California
a tangent.
and Arizona
Well, that was
rivalries, climate rees. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyways, where were we?
So yeah, you were saying that it have to be reasonable on the time and the amount.
Oh yeah, for master
when
leasing.
I could stay
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but I mean that is like, definitely a doable thing. That you can
Why
put into a
not?
master lease agreement.
Just sit on the properties.
So, well, cool. There's that's definitely a goal. When like what do you see? The next, I don't know, 4 years. Like how many properties you
Next
think you're
4
on in
to
like 4
5
years?
years. Hopefully, let's not say hopefully. I want 10 minimum.
10 minimum. Oh, you do it.
Yeah, 2 a
You
year.
definitely do it.
And if I can't hold both of them, it happens. But I'm gonna try for more. And yeah, having a close farm is great, but I'm hopefully.
It's
Gonna
great.
expand.
I do love having, I do love having a lot of stuff that I manage, really close together. But, I, now that it's been a few years, I feel like, I'm definitely getting a taste of the maintenance, part of the business, where I thought that, since these houses were pretty much not brand new, but like had been redone, that maintenance would be a little bit further down the line than they are, especially after the monster storm we just had. But that is what it is. But without that, a lot of the, I guess I'm definitely like the maintenance parts, like looking at it, some of it going, wow, that's I put a little bit aside, but I figured I had a little bit more time. Like that maintenance part's definitely going to kick me in the teeth here in the next couple of years, but comes with the territory. So, anyways,
I agree. Comes with the wear and tear.
so, what? Let's see here. What do you want to talk about? I know I'm supposed to be the host.
You're
and,
fine.
like,
You're a great
guide the
host.
conversation, but it is 1:30 in the morning, so
You're an amazing host,
Yeah.
and we've gotten a
Thank
lot of
you.
good stuff.
thank you. So, you're biased though.
I am
Why are
a
you
little
biased?
biased. You're very handsome. You're making me nervous.
Am I?
Just kidding. No, we're just having a friendly conversation. It's cool to go over goals. So why don't we go over yours? So where do you see yourself
Oh, we're
in
gonna
5
flip
years?
the script here and interview me, huh?
Yeah, what's
well,
your goal for a 5 year?
5 years. I really haven't. That is something I need to sit down and do. I've actually been saying that for about a year, that I need to sit down.
And you said that we were going to do it once life slows down, but life doesn't slow down.
That's true.
So.
That's true. And like like Mark said tonight, he's like, we're all on a one-way path to death. So we're all on
good
this,
way to
we're
look
all
at
on the
it.
same we're all on the same path, and that's
Meaning
to
that
die. Like,
every day is a gift,
Yes,
So
of
make the
course, he
most
meant
of
that in
it.
a-
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Go out there, do it, Talk about what you want to do.
Exactly. It was just like, how he put it was like a, like a remember that, like not dwell on it, but like, like live with intention, kind of thing. And to answer your question, yeah, that has been something that, I definitely, I had a 5-year plan. I got really close to hitting it. I got kind of sidetracked by a little bit of a shiny object. It's taken me basically a year to recorrect course, I guess, from that. And I definitely want to, my 5-year plan was basically financial independence. So, I took a hard look about 6 years ago and took a hard look at my finances and where I wanted to be, and and set a goal of like what, without the lifestyle creep, which is a very real and difficult thing to keep in check. Because there's that balance of, I lived, for the first 2 or 3 years, very, 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 very frugally. I didn't spend a dime. I never went out. Like I just,
Saved.
just saved and worked. And then, made a move finally. And then, and then things cascaded pretty quickly, in those first, from like year 3 to year 5, essentially. And, like I said, it took me a little while to correct course. So, but, and then I bought the club also, which, definitely, I guess, how do I put this? Like it was like a mixed bag of whether it like helped and whether it hindered.
Definitely added to the plan.
Yeah. Like it, and I knew that going into it, I was like, I looked at where I was, 2 years ago. And I was like, even if it did kick me back a year or two, it's okay. Like where I was at that point, I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I could do it. And I made that decision. Like I did that knowingly. I didn't be like, I'm going to take over this massive, like, this massive, like, commitment and not realize that it's how much time it's going to take. Like I definitely went into it knowing that I was going to push back that a little bit, but I knew that it would be worth it, Yeah. So what is like my 5-year goal 5-year plan look like now? I honestly am not all that sure. It's definitely up in the air. My 5-year plan wasn't just financial independence. I was kind of driven to, I wanted to get a boat. I wanted to get a sailboat, and just after 5 years, like that's where my dollar figure came out at, where I knew I wanted to have a certain amount, of spending money basically to get a boat, make the payment on a boat, food, entertainment kind of thing, like travel budget. And I wanted to just travel the world. And on a sailboat, I figured, for a lot of reasons, sailboat just kind of called to me. And, I not that I necessarily like lost sight of it, but I did a sailing trip in Greece like a year ago. No, 2 years ago. Damn, almost 2 years ago. Wow. And I really had a great time. I was on a sailboat, like a 53-foot sailboat or something, for like a week. And it was awesome. I loved it. But, did I love the traveling part of it and like the just meeting new people and doing all that? Or was it like the sailing part of it that I really loved? And I don't know. Like I really liked it. But I think I love the travel part calls to me more than maybe the sailboat does. Yeah. But I still feel that call to do that, like that, or that like pull to do that. And I'm giving you the really, really long answer, and I'm just kind of monologuing here. Sorry.
It's okay. I like your long answer.
But so like I said, I need to sit down and figure out that 5-year idea again, plan. And, and now you've come into the picture. So that's going to be a huge, part of it. So, on what we want to do and, where we want to go. And it's not just a me question anymore. It's a we question. So, that's why I said the other day, I was like, we really need to sit down and like put something together because, everything, it's everything. Like, do we want to travel? Do we want to stay put? Do we want to travel full time? Do we want to,
Sounds like we both want to travel though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool that we're on the same wavelength. So yeah, you're right. It's like, we got to manifest it. We do have to put, what we want out there so that it will come true. And you're right. We do kind of got to refocus on what that is. So
Yeah.
Good
I
plan.
bought that thing to hang the keys on. Like,
yeah,
I never
that's
put
a
it up.
good next step. And I think that's where we're also on the same plan is like, filling all those key hooks would be an amazing thing. But, we got to have a plan to do that. We got to have, do we keep our farm super, super tight or do we spread out our eggs a little bit, our investments into like, sky's the limit. And I'm really interested in going into commercial or, just seeing where the market's going to go. Because once the market does drop or if it does, who knows what's going to happen. But like they said tonight, that's like the best time to buy. And, it shouldn't stop the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Just
key thing
pivot.
we're talking about is I bought this, like a key hook, like a,
It's a hook holder.
it's like a hooks, like it's like 5 lines of hook, like, I don't know.
7 rows of 5.
It's like 20 hooks on like a board. And this thing was like $130. It was stupidly expensive.
Oh my gosh.
Because I couldn't find
that.
I couldn't find one that was like nice. Like they were all just like, like
Cheap
crappy
looking.
like pieces of wood with like little brass hooks in them. I'm like, I wanted something like to kind of
Sturdy.
looked somewhat nice because my idea was to basically like I got this idea from somewhere. I don't remember who it was. I remember Evan telling me about it, but I don't remember who. My stepdad Evan Brown telling me about it, but I don't remember where he got it from or heard it from. But it's basically like you have, the house that pays for things. Like you don't go out and buy a car.
It was,
Okay.
wasn't it Rich Lennon?
Rich Lennon said something similar. Yeah.
Like you have your sushi house, you have your Jeep house, you have your
Yes,
boat house, you
exactly.
have your, or was
Exactly.
it Mitch Stevens? I don't know.
I think it was Mitch. I don't remember. I don't
Like, yeah,
remember. Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry
I
if it
think
was
it
you
was
and we're not
Mitch.
giving you proper
I
credit.
think
I
it was
apologize.
Mitch.
But I'd heard that.
I have it in my notes.
I'd heard that before because I'd already
kidding.
bought the hook thing before we went to Florida. So,
That's so cool.
so Evan had, told me about it at some point and he got it from someone else. I don't remember who. But yeah, you have your boat house, your sushi house, your eating out house, your, whatever house. And before, instead of, let's say, $20,000, and you want to put that $20,000 down to go buy, a car. Okay. Let's keep it simple. That car is you can put that $20,000 down and you're going to have $500 a month of a payment and a depreciating asset. Instead of doing that, go take the $20,000,
Buy
put
a
it into a
house.
deal that's going to make $500 a month.
And it's appreciating it.
Yeah. And then you go buy the car
With that
and then
cash flow.
boom, you got the house paying for the car and you call it the car house.
I think it was Mitch.
It might have been Aaron Mazzrillo actually.
No, it was Mitch because he said because he was all about selling the houses on a lease. And when he sold them on a lease option to buy, he got a down payment to pay for the thing he wanted.
Oh, okay.
Plus the cash flow of the monthly payment.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. I mean,
So he was
it's
selling the
not
houses on a lease option instead
It's-
of renting them, instead of doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely not a new concept. Like I didn't come
Yeah,
up with it.
no, but still, it was amazing.
Like it's a common thing. But like, but I wanted to do it. So I wanted to. So I bought this key hook thing. Probably like a
A couple months ago.
couple. It's been like I think I bought it in October, like before.
It's been that long?
Yeah, it's like when we moved
We need
in.
to hang that.
We moved into the last house. Like, yeah, and I wanted to hang it on the wall and like actually draw it out. Like, this is
The
this. this is
names of the
this. Like,
places. Yeah.
and this part of my plan, we're talking, goals and plans and stuff is like, I can live very frugally on one hand. I have many times throughout my life. And I can also be a little bougie and, and I like nice things and toys and, and experiences. I mean, I like, I just like living. So, and I don't,
Me too.
and the stuff that I do buy, like I put a lot of research and time into like making sure it's like what I want. And, like if you, I like having a nice computer, or monitor or, sound system or a car or whatever. Like I just a bed, like it's just
TV.
it's I like having a nice house and like I want to travel. I want to travel first class. I want to get my
That's
someday,
awesome.
someday, and people, I want my tricked out Jeep, and I want my, my sports car, and I just, I like toys. So I'm just a kid, just
Yeah.
little
And
boy
I
with his
think
toys. So
it's good to
And-
still get those whenever, if you've earned them, why not? Treat yourself,
yeah. And I,
You gotta
and
enjoy life, like you said. It's about the
hobbies and stuff too. Like I've
experience.
had numerous hobbies throughout my,
He's an amazing bowler.
I don't know about amazing. But
He's
I would
a
love to go pro.
professional. Excuse me. He's a
Yeah.
professional.
No, but I wouldn't honestly that's
He's amazing.
That's one of the, when I sit here and we talk about plans and goals and stuff, I'll be honest, I think it'd be really cool to go pro bowling, just as a,
You'd be so cool.
just as a hobby,
You'd be
just
so good.
okay, things are great in real estate,
And
take a
imagine
year or
we
two
could
and see
travel.
how good I can get at bowling.
Yeah, we could
and
travel for your
and bowl.
tournaments, honey. That was so fun that we did.
So, I
That'd be
there's
cool.
other hobbies and stuff that I've been into and that I was into in the past that, I just dropped for one reason or another. And normally it was because they got expensive or they weren't something that I could take with me. I got into aquaponics and gardening and doing all that stuff for a long time. Well, I don't know about a long time, but for a period of time. And, I moved this a 1,000-gallon aquaponics system. I moved it once and that was enough for me. And then when I moved again, I was like, there's no way I'm moving this whole thing again and starting over. Cause it's basically like building a giant fish tank, with a garden mixed in. And I didn't want to move it, but I really, really, really liked doing it. And I would love to have that kind of system again. But I told myself until I have my dream house that I know
Forever
I'm
house.
not
Yeah.
leaving,
Which is
and
tough.
I'm going to spend, that kind of money to build a real, cause I got the system in my head of what I want to build. That would be a permanent, fully
Talk about it.
fully enclosed, legit, mini farm system. And to do that, and this is what I'm talking about with the money, I would love to do that for real, but it's that's not I'm going to need a house to fund that.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be the aquaponics house.
Yeah. And
With the cash flow. That'd be great.
I would love to own horses someday.
Me too. I want chickens and goats.
Yeah. But what's crazy about that stuff is I would love to have a homestead. I think it's really cool, but at the same time, I've been around it, long enough or not long enough, but enough, to know how much work it is. And, I feel like there's a reason, we built civilization because that if everybody's going to be having to do that own work, you don't have time for
can't
anything
even-
else. It's
yeah.
literally
That's even
make gardening or producing enough food to feed your family is a ton of work.
Yep.
Ton of work. It is not they sell these, these little kits and stuff to oh yeah, grow your own food.
No, that's
Yeah. Okay. You get a couple
lifestyle.
tomatoes here and there, or you get a little herb garden going, but to feed enough calories, kcals to feed a family, of 2 or 5 on a regular, and I mean, maybe you don't have to go to this extreme, you can just supplement your stuff, but still, I mean, you get one bug infection and
you're not eating.
and you're not, and then you got to treat that. And then, in aquaponics, you gotta be real careful about what you treat the plants because then it goes into the water, which can hurt the fish, and vice versa with what you treat the fish with. So there's just so many variables, and there's people that are doing it, and there's tons of stuff on YouTube University, on how to do this stuff and beyond. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of, and when I sit here and go, well, there's only so much time. We all got so much time. There's 24 hours in the day, right? That was one of the things that Mark said. He's there's everybody has the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're, doesn't matter what you are or how much money you got. We all got 24 hours in a day. That doesn't change.
Yes.
And I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Do I want to spend my time?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I kind of did it. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. I would love to have like that system, but I'd also probably like to pay somebody to maintain it.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. And time is money. And time is
while I go travel.
No, seriously, time is so valuable. Like 100%.
Because if you got chickens, you got goats, you got
how the hell
a
are you ever
fish
gonna leave?
You're not going anywhere.
Ever.
Like,
Never.
You're not
I
going
could barely
anywhere.
leave with the
promise.
cat
Like,
now. I'm just kidding.
Like, I mean, unless you automate. I mean, this is why I'm big into automation and stuff like that.
Systems.
And systems and
100%.
and everything, like in whatever I do. But and you can automate. You can put your fish on a feeding schedule for like a week or whatever. But that feeder. I mean, that's keeping a little tropical fish tank. Dumps too much food in, you lose a fish or two. It sucks, but whatever. But like if that thing's like your farm, like your mini farm, and
you can't lose
and the feeder goes wrong, or you have a few fish die, that that can cascade in a system badly really quickly, and you lose and then like with the fish, you keep them in different stages so that you always have a rotation of fish to eat. So you keep fry, and then you keep like adult fish, and I forgot what the one in the middle was, juvenile. The fingerlings, sorry. So you keep the fry are the little guys that look like guppies, and then the fingerlings are the ones that are about the size of your finger, and then you have the adults, which you eat. So you keep them at different stages, and you're always cycling them, so that as you're eating the adults, the fry are born, they're breeding, and the fingerlings. So you have this rotation. Same thing with the plants. Like you're always constantly, you have seedlings, and then you have, the ones that are growing, and you're eating. So you keep it, because if you just grew
them all at the same time,
20 plants from seed to eating, you're gonna have a lot of salad, at one time.
Yeah, you gotta space it out.
And like I said, so there's all these rotations, and this is like, I mean, not to speak of like crop rotation and like all this other stuff that goes into gardening and doing it properly, and fish rearing. It's just like we're getting way off track of real estate, but it's just a ton of work. Like it's people have these dreams about like homesteading and stuff, and once you start doing it, like and I'm talking like for real. I'm not talking like Miracle Grow and buying stuff at Home Depot and just throwing it in a garden, like just throwing it in a planter for a summer. I'm talking like real sustainable, like homestead, organic. Yeah, it's not for the. I don't know if I want to do that.
No, I'd rather just travel somewhere and see them doing it, and that's enough experience.
Right.
Me.
Right.
And then we go back home.
Just like I like the farm to plate idea, but like I don't want to farm it. Like
let's just go to their.
Let's just go straight to the plate. I'll pay for it. And I'll get a house to pay for it. So the eating out house. But
there's gonna be a travel house,
farm to table house. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, it's just but you gotta sit down, because everything's a trade off, right? There's the opportunity cost of everything. Every decision we make is, if you choose A, you might be giving up B.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, it's just we can't do. I heard there's a quote that I always liked. You can't do, what is it? Let me think about this for a second. You can be anything you want, but you can't be everything.
Damn, that's a good one.
And I think I don't remember where I was in life when I heard that one.
That's
but
a good quote.
So once again, you can be anything you want, but you can't be everything. And it's basically like, it's pretty straightforward, right? Like,
That's a good life philosophy.
It's whatever you want to be. It's out there. You can do it, but there's just not enough time in the day or life to do everything. You can't be
gotta be selective.
An astronaut, an actor, and a book writer and a scientist and, and a pro bowler and sailor. And, you could do a lot. Maybe you could do a lot of those things, but like
Can't do it all.
Every single thing you want to do that interests you, there's only so much time.
Yep.
It's
a good pointer.
So the point is, I guess, to answer your question succinctly, because I now have gone like 25 minutes into that answer, but is I don't know. I don't know. I would like to sit down and figure that out. Life's gotten a lot more variables to it than it was 5 years ago.
Yep.
So which is good. I'm not complaining. I mean, there's a lot more options, a lot more opportunities. There's a lot more, at stake, and I definitely love that part. It's simpler can be better, but at the same time, I like my life right now. So I don't have any complaints. It just, I don't want to move blindly, I guess. I don't want to just get into that routine and then, step out of the bubble, 10 years from now and be like, oh.
Yeah. Can't let that happen.
Yeah. I want to be in control a little bit. So I guess not control, but like have an idea,
intention, like
something to look back, like what we did with the club. We did a mission and vision statement, and we look back and decide if we're going to go down this path or that path, and based on the values of the club. And I want to, kind of revisit what I want, that way for life, just, so I can see like, yeah, I'm not going to go spend, 10 hours of my time or 10 weeks of my time getting back into gardening because I want to do this more, because I want to bowl. I don't know.
You want to travel,
or I don't want to become, put all that time into bowling to be pro bowling pro bowler because I want to, get a boat. There ain't many bowling alleys, out there on a sailboat. And it's a lot of weight to carry around 45 pounds of bowling balls. That's only half of them. So.
You're 7-9 balls.
I don't know how many I have at the moment. I think it's, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm pretty much only throwing one at the moment, but I do have, I think 7, maybe 8. Active.
He has 8 or 9.
Active and drilled.
Let's be honest.
In the bag, ready to go. But there's a couple on the shelf too, and one that's retired, 2 that are retired.
Yeah.
So, but one of them's waiting for you to throw a real size ball.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting the other one.
So.
Was it the scorpion? Anyway.
So.
The moral is to do what you love in life, because you're on limited time, and to live with intention. Like you said, don't let 10 years go by and then you look back and you're like, oh man, I could have did that differently or spent my time differently. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. A lot.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Well, living with intention. So yeah, we're going to sit down and figure it out, but that's a discussion for another day, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll have to, now that we're recording it, we'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And
we'll come back with another discussion on what we what we put in the plan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, we keep kind of each other. So it's almost.
I think I'm getting really tired.
Yeah, it's almost 2 a.m. here. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off here pretty quick. But
it's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, it was a great night again. Mark Pantek,
night.
Check him out. We'll have him back on the. Actually, he's gonna be on the show in the morning.
That'll be a great.
So it'll probably be a couple weeks until it gets posted. So,
yep.
Got to do all that processing and
editing
and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, if you're looking to get on the show, you can go to firechat.iereic.org. Again, that's firechat.iereic.org. There's a link on there. You click it, it'll take you right to my calendar. You can just throw yourself on the schedule, and we'll get you in here and do a little interview and have a little chat and talk about some real estate and whatever else, like gardening and bowling and all kinds of exciting stuff.
Whatever you want to talk about, he's here for you.
Exactly. So with that, Caitlin, if people want to, do a deal with you or maybe travel with you or whatever. Yeah. How do they get a hold of you? What's, whatever you're comfortable with is going on YouTube. So
just search me on Facebook, Caitlin Weaver.
All right. Caitlin Weaver on Facebook.
Or I'm on Instagram too, but Facebook's the main hub.
Yeah, and you open to partnering on deals or money or?
I'm open on partnering. I'm open on anything. I want to learn more about creative financing, and I like properties in the mountain areas. I'm not scared of anything in the mountain that needs help, or anything in the IE.
All
but
right.
yeah, I'm open to
or
partnering.
Florida or Alabama or Tennessee.
Open. Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds good. Again, Caitlin Weaver on Facebook if you want to chat with her. And again, this has been an episode of FIREchat, the Financial Independence Through Real Estate podcast here at the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. So again, my name is Rich Rice, your host, and we're signing off, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Have a good night.